Welcome back. Welcome in. We're going to get right into this one because although a shorter book, there's a lot to be said about it. So, what if the person you loved was a danger to you, and the person who saved you was the greatest danger of all? Oh, Sweet Rose is a psychological thriller that will have you second guessing every character's motive, including the protagonist. What's the story about? Oh, Sweet Rose is a psychological thriller that follows the protagonist, Rose, through a series of tumultuous relationships. The story begins with her seemingly unsafe relationship with her boyfriend, Liam, where she is passive and endures abuse. The narrative shifts when an old boyfriend, Ryan, appears, seemingly to rescue her. While things appear perfect with Ryan, there are many elements that don't add up, leaving the reader with a growing sense of unease. The book is described as a deliberately slow burn that builds a foreboding atmosphere. The story culminates in a conclusion where everything makes sense, and the reason for the protagonist's confusing journey is revealed. The author's use of a twist at the end may even lead some readers to feel the story had a hint of a vampire theme. What sets this one apart? It's a masterclass in psychological suspense. The book uses a nuanced understanding of manipulative techniques to create a coiled, ever tightening time bomb of suspense. The tension is not a question of if it will explode, but when and how. This is a book for readers who enjoy a story where every detail makes you stop and think. The unreliable and fragmented narrative. The author's stylistic choice to use disjointed prose mirrors Rose's fragile and fragmented state. This unique perspective is a deliberate and powerful tool for foreshadowing the underlying trauma and instability that drives the plot. Purposeful pacing. Oh, Sweet Rose is described as a slow burn that is perfectly calibrated to deliver jolts of tension precisely when they are needed most. The suspense lingers long after the moment has passed, disguised in various forms that fuel the book's intrigue. Limited dialogue. A notable and courageous decision is the book's limited use of dialogue. The narrative trusts the internal monologue and actions of its characters, with the supporting cast serving as a reflection of the protagonist's psychological state. Would have been the reader's response. Captivating and thought provoking. Customers found the premise truly compelling, and the book to be a captivating psychological thriller. The creative storytelling and thought provoking concept were highly praised. Mixed reactions to pacing and depth. While many appreciated the deliberately slow burn pace, some felt the need for more depth in some areas, particularly regarding the character's family background and the lead up to the reveal of her dissociative and split personality. A rewarding conclusion. The book is a sophisticated and rewarding read that earns the reader's deep appreciation over time. The ending makes everything in the story fall into place, making the journey worthwhile for the patient reader. It is a film noir quality. One review compared the book's mood to film noir, with a touch of melancholy and a character not having one of their best days, while your gut tells you something is coming. While every one of these videos is going to have the same concepts and sections in it, they might be mixed up sometimes. And I thought it best to get right into the author spotlight after reading the reactions. Rose Hart is a teacher by day and a creator of shadows and secrets by night. Fascinated by the labyrinth of the human mind, she crafts psychological thrillers that twist reality, challenge perceptions, and keep readers questioning what is real. A seeker of truth, Rose is drawn to stories that reveal the hidden corners of human nature. Writing gives her purpose, a way to explore the depths of thought, fear, and desire, while inviting readers to step into worlds where nothing is quite what it seems. When she isn't unraveling mysteries on the page, Rose finds herself observing the world with curiosity and intent, always searching for the threads of truth that lie just beneath the surface. I thought it important to get right to that, just because this is Rose Hart's first novel, and we'll get into my take a little bit later on, but I really thought that she did a bang up job of capturing everything that is right there in her Amazon bio, and I can't wait for more from her. Just for comparison's sake, and I do like this section because I think it makes it more relevant to uh, well, to everybody, because a lot of this stuff is already it's been in the zeitgeist for a long time. But we'll start with book comparisons. Um, Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. It's a strong comparison due to the themes of a tumultuous relationship, psychological manipulation, and an unreliable narrative perspective. Like Oh Sweet Rose, this is a thriller that makes the reader second guess the protagonist's motives. Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. This classic Gothic novel shares the quality of a slow burn, foreboding atmosphere, and psychological tension. It also features a passive female protagonist thrust into a seemingly perfect but deeply unsettling new life, echoing Rose's shift in relationships. And the last one is We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. This book offers a parallel for the fragmented internal narrative and the exploration of a protagonist with a fragile psychological state and a shocking truth to reveal. And then some movie comparisons. Uh, right out of the gates, this reminded me of The Sixth Sense. This film is an excellent parallel for a story with a deliberate, slow burn pace that builds to a conclusion where everything makes sense, and the full scope of the protagonist's reality is revealed. A Girl Walks Home at Night, 2014. For the subtle, suggested vampire theme, this film offers a compelling connection. It's a visually stylized, moody film with a film noir quality that focuses on a dangerous yet compelling figure, paralleling the melancholy mood described in the reviews. And then lastly, probably one of my favorite movies of all time is Vertigo, 1958. A classic film noir psychological thriller, it perfectly embodies the themes of a protagonist drawn into a world of manipulation and fragmented reality, aligning with the book's mood. The comparison to a film noir quality in the reviews makes this a particularly apt choice. I couldn't agree more with that. And then my review. In a narrative that demonstrates a masterful command of psychological suspense, R. Hart's O Sweet Rose is a work of subtle genius. The author immediately establishes a tense and foreboding atmosphere, leveraging a nuanced understanding of manipulative techniques to transform this initial disquiet into a coiled, ever tightening time bomb. The suspense is not in a question of if it will explode, but when, and more intriguingly, how. One of the book's most significant strengths lies in its portrayal of the protagonist. Hart's creative use of disjointed prose mirrors the protagonist's fragile and fragmented state, offering a perspective on her world that is uniquely and unsettlingly her own. This stylistic choice is not a flaw to be overlooked, but a deliberate and powerful tool for foreshadowing, revealing the underlying trauma and instability that drive the plot forward. The pacing is a testament to the author's narrative control. It is perfectly calibrated, delivering jolts of tension precisely when they are most needed, while allowing for moments of quiet that are themselves rich with subtle clues. This dynamic ebb and flow compels the reader to resist the urge to race to the conclusion, instead inviting them to savor every detail, every chilling hint. The tension, much like in a well crafted cinematic thriller, lingers long after the moment has passed, disguised in various forms that fuel the book's consuming intrigue. A notable and courageous decision is the book's limited use of dialogue. Rather than relying on conversation to propel the narrative, O Sweet Rose trusts the internal monologue and actions of its characters. This is a powerful choice, as the supporting cast role is not to carry the story, but to serve as a reflection of the protagonist's psychological state. For those who have completed the journey, the reason for this creative choice becomes profoundly clear. Ultimately, O Sweet Rose is a sophisticated and rewarding read. It is a work that doesn't demand instant gratification, but instead earns the reader's deep appreciation over time. The compact length of the book ensures that this gripping and emotionally resonant trip is a swift but impactful one, leaving a lasting impression long after the final page is turned. Personally, there's a lot of different ways we could take this portion of the discussion. I think it's clear through my review that there are some disagreements I have with other reviewers, in that a slow burn is a slow burn for a reason. And I think there's very few genres that really cater to that method, outside of maybe romance, but I think horror probably personifies that more than most. And I think it was on clear display. Like it wasn't everybody's cup of tea, but then a lot of people are looking for that instant page turner, where they don't want the quiet moments or the subtlety of nuance. They want that propelling driving story that did feature quite prominently in the last few videos. Those books were like legitimate page turners. This one forces you to think a little bit more about what's going on, specifically all the clues that are in there, whether we're at that slow burn pace or not. There's constantly something happening. Plus, we're wrapping that up with the immediate um, sense of foreboding. I know we're overusing that word in this video, but it really is that. Um, because even the first scene in the cafe is intense. It makes you feel uncomfortable, and that lasts throughout the whole book, and can at times dissuade you from really reading between the lines on some of this stuff that is so expertly weaved into the narrative. And these are the clues that Rose Hart herself loves to put into her story. I'd say stories. This is her first book, and I think we mentioned that earlier. And I really, really, really hope that there's more in store for her, for our benefit as readers. Um, and I can't stress the paying attention to everything motive or modus. What we want to phrase that, uh, because the ending is a major twist. But if you put the pieces together throughout the narrative, and it is a shorter book, I know we mentioned this pretty much in every video too. It shouldn't take you much more than an hour and a half, 2 hours tops. Um, but they're all planted strategically, and some of them are insanely subtle. So you really have to read. I don't want to say between the lines. That's not right there, but make sure that you're taking everything in instead of just skimming this book, because you will miss things. Um, yeah, other than that, like I said, that sense of foreboding, which is established immediately, just grows and grows and grows, and it gets to the point where you want to say, I mean, this is what caused me to keep turning the pages on this. Um, I am a huge fan of psychological anything, whether it be the horror, the thrillers. That's why I felt that Vertigo and Sixth Sense were amazing comparisons. And just like those movie comparisons, the ending is the same twist-wise, especially especially the very end, the last page. So yeah, with that said, I hope that there is more in store for Rose Hart, because she really has earned my appreciation, and I became a fan immediately after reading this. So definitely pick it up. And next time on the Veiled Archive, what if the Vatican's most fearsome exorcist wasn't even alive? As a demonic killer murders holy warriors mid-ritual, the Church unleashes Michael, a living weapon immune to possession and designed to destroy evil. Join us for a deep dive into the Exorcist Code, an occult thriller where the rules of possession are rewritten and the only hope for humanity may be a seed of its own destruction. This book by William Massa fits our profile for the rules of the channel at least 50%. It is a new installment um, that's gotten rave reviews since its debut in March, but the author himself should be well known to most people on Amazon in general. This guy's been a powerhouse. Um, power seller, bestseller on Amazon for quite a while. So, yep, I'm looking forward to that one. But also before we go, um, I know we always pay homage here to the algorithm gods, and it seems to be working. The channel is growing organically. They're not forcing this, and we're just entertaining my views and hopefully sharing some of the same passions that you do. But with that said, please like and subscribe. Um, it's not just exposure for the channel, it's exposure for the authors themselves. They put a lot of hard work into what they write. And as with our featured author today, these are the kinds of things that can boost the confidence to keep going, to write more. So supporting the channel supports the authors. And we'll make sure to keep reaching out to as many authors as possible, just so that they know uh, that there is more connection between the readers and themselves, beyond the review processes and whatnot. So, at any rate, we'll see you next time on the Veiled Archive.